All right, everybody, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about how to get a better interest rate in this high interest rate environment. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody, welcome to Sacramento's Real Estate Channel, where we talk everything there is to know about the brand new bills and, of course, what there is to do here in Sacramento. If you've been thinking about making a move to the area, subscribe to the channel. And just so you know, we go live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. We'll see you there. All right, guys, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about interest rates. And of course, that's been the talk of the town, is that rates have gone up like crazy the last few months. So today, we're going to talk about how to get you a better deal in this market, especially with these higher interest rates all around. So to really start off the conversation, I thought it'd be the most appropriate to have my preferred lender, Sean Asplund. He is a broker and owns a team that runs multi-state actually at this point. They do a lot of our loans, and I wanted to bring them onto the channel today to really discuss some of the different products and, of course, what's available in today's market. So, Sean, welcome to the channel. How are you today, my friend?
Hey, Sam. Thanks for having me, man. Doing really well.
Yeah, always good to have you. And you just had a baby boy. Congratulations. How's that going? Dad life to the max.
He is, his name is Caden. He's 6 weeks old, and been awesome and a whirlwind. We have a 4-year-old, so this is not our first time, but sleep category is lacking right now. So, and I'm glad to be able to jump in.
And I'm sure it doesn't make it easier to be a loan officer in a crazy market like this.
The two markets that I work the most are Northern California, like Sacramento, Placer County, and then the greater Nashville area in Tennessee. And it's funny, they're very, very similar. They're
Really?
very, yeah. So, but yeah, I appreciate it.
You know, I was just talking about Nashville with somebody the other day. I'd love to just come out there and visit and just enjoy the vibe, you know? So, yeah, I wanted to talk today really quick. You're obviously the pro with loans, with rates. I'm sure you've been hearing it from your clients, as I've heard it before too. Like, hey, you know, interest rates are much higher right now. We think we're going to hold off or wait till the end of the year, right? So that's a lot of the conversations that we're probably both hearing right now, amongst other people in the industry. But what's your take on that? Do you feel that interest rates are going to keep crawling up throughout this year? Where do you see them going?
Great question, man. And I'll answer that by just saying that the past 6 months has been a whirlwind. You know, anyone that follows real estate and lending and where rates are at, back in we were at 3%. And a month ago, rates were in like the 6% range on a conventional loan. And then 2 weeks ago, our rates for our company dropped down to 4.9%.
Wow.
You know, and within the last week, it's been really up and down. So we're kind of in the 5.2, 5.3 range right now. And what I've learned is that there's a lot of fear. Okay. And I'll answer the question in a second. There's a lot of fear with, oh my gosh, is the market going to crash? And I understand you're probably getting a lot of those questions. We're coming across people who maybe see something on the news, maybe see something on Instagram or Facebook. Well, I follow people and I get my information from people who are actually studying the data, not just opinion on things. And so data shows that home values will continue to increase at a slower rate. We've been seeing percent appreciation year over year for the last 2-3 years. That'll low to like the 3 to 5% range, but we're still projected for homes to appreciate because there's still massive demand. You know, just in the past few weeks, we've been seeing more homes come on the market, which gives opportunity for buyers. I know we're going to talk about that piece a lot tonight. But within that opportunity, sorry, my phone just did something. Within that opportunity, it really gives the buyers an edge, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been telling people, you know, whatever happens in the next 6 months, 12 months, you know, if we continue to see some price reductions, it helps you on a monthly payment basis. It helps you with options. We're getting more toward a neutral market because we've been in such a seller's market for a while
Yeah.
in
Hmm.
power.
Definitely.
So a lot of pros there for people who are wanting to buy, wanting to, put their money into real estate where it's the safest long-term investment, period.
Hmm.
And so I'm still buying homes right now.
I've
Um,
seen that. I've seen
you
you
know,
get a few
I'm
lately.
what I preach,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Come on.
I'm looking, I'm on the look. Doesn't mean I'm going crazy. I'm just seeing what's out there, seeing what fits, if it makes sense, let's do it,
Hmm.
because I know that no matter what happens in the next 6 to 12 months, which I don't believe there's going to be a housing crash for the record.
Hmm.
Uh, but no matter what happens, homes in 3 to 5 years will be worth for sure more than they are right now. You
Hmm.
know, we're due for a correction, and that's what we're starting to see is a correction.
Hmm. Okay. So you feel like we're going through a correction. Now, with that, do
Right.
you feel like that rates will still increase throughout the year?
I do think that they're going to continue to increase.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
every time the Fed talks about inflation, it
Yep.
always tends worse than what they project. You
Yep.
know, they
Hmm.
seem to be unsurprised
That,
by it.
yeah, that seems to be keep happening over and over.
But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if rates continue to, overall trend upward. Now, I hope
Mm.
I'm wrong, but that's the direction that that I'm advising clients. So, for
Mhm.
example, in light of that, when someone gets in contract, I'm advising they lock right away because
Mhm.
right
Yep.
now there's a higher probability that rates would get worse while they're in
Yeah.
contract
Oh, yeah.
versus better.
Mhm. Okay. So if rate's gonna keep, potentially increasing throughout the year, timing is definitely of the essence because you and I, we both had this conversation that a lot of people are kind of like, you know what, we're gonna wait till the end of the year. I can't tell you how many times I've had that conversation just in the last week or two. um,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I never push for timing or this and that. At the end of the day, it's up to a person and their specific timing. But if it's a matter of, hey, we're gonna wait out because rates are a little high, it's like you can still take advantage. They're actually not that high as it may seem. And the market with this more inventory coming to the market, really more homes on the market, it's definitely creating a lot more negotiation with sellers right now. So I feel like it's one of those maybe uneasy times, but really that's when investors come in and get a deal, right? Just like in the stock market, when things kind of cool off for a while, people are still dollar cost averaging. They're still buying into the market, especially when it's taking dips. Now, with that being said, today I want to talk about a few of the different loan products out there right now. We'll talk about current pricing and really some of the favorable loan products that you're seeing out there, what you're recommending to people. Of course, everybody's situation is absolutely different. So if you guys ever want to get a quote on a loan or a refi, you can reach out to Sean and his team. I'll put the info down below. But it's someone that we've worked with in the past many times. He's even done my own house loan, so nothing to worry about here. So, with these higher interest rates, what are some maybe loan products that are kind of coming out right now that are beating, let's say, your typical 30-year conventional right now? Is there anything that kind of comes to mind that's a little bit more favorable to use right now?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, most people are familiar with conventional,
Right.
30-year fixed be
Hmm.
the default. What I will say before I get into specifics to answer your question is anyone who's watching this, you can talk to 10 different banks and you'll get 10 different quotes because each bank runs their pricing differently. We're not all the
Hmm.
same. I've worked on a
Yeah.
lot of different banking. And so what I decided, I like options for myself and I like to offer clients options. So I've decided to become an independent mortgage broker where I own my
Mhm.
own mortgage company, but I use up to 30 different banks because each bank is different. So rather than
Mm.
me one bank and I can only offer what that bank offers my clients, and whatever that is, if they raise their rates, then I'm stuck,
Yeah.
Uh, I like having options. So being able to shop around, I think, is crucial right now. Give you an example. I'm sure I think we have time for this before I jump in. I posted on this on my Facebook, but just yesterday I got a phone call from a buyer.
Mhm.
He wanted a second opinion, so we started chatting, and he told me he got a loan quote. He got his credit pulled. He did pre-approval with another mortgage company, and it was a company in my area. And he was quoted 6.375% on a conventional 30-year fixed loan with 5% down.
Wow.
He's a first buyer. He doesn't know any different. Okay. So he calls me. He says, "Hey, man, I just want to get a second opinion. My realtor told me to do. Here's my scenario. My credit's this. They just ran it. They told me what it was.
Yep.
They approved. Here's my purchase price, 5% down. Can you just let me know what you got?" He doesn't know anything, right?
Yeah.
So I run the pricing for him while we're on the phone, and I run it, and we're at 5.3%, 5.375% with no points. Okay.
Wow.
That is the drastic difference of a 5-minute phone call. I get passionate about it because what that does is when I did the math and I broke it down for him, just that 5-minute phone call is saving him over $300 a month on his monthly payment.
Did you know that calling Sean Aspelin with a 5-minute phone call can save you $300 or more on your mortgage?
I mean, I was even like, whoa. I mean, that was a big difference,
Yeah, huge, huge.
So I encourage people. I'm not afraid to get shopped. I encourage people. This is the biggest financial decision people make in their lifetime.
Oh yeah.
It pays to get a second opinion. And my advice to people who are watching this is you're going to get the best deal going with a local, true mortgage broker that can shop around. Now, in light of that, these are our pricing. So this is not going to be general pricing for every loan company because, like I said, everyone's different. Okay.
Yep.
But our, as of today, I don't know if you have that graph you can show, but it'll give people a shot of where our pricing's at today.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's totally good. So I'll walk through it real quick. The first conventional 30-year fixed loan, and I'm basing every single scenario off a purchase price of $500,000 just to keep it simple. And the first option is 5% down, conventional. The rate is pricing out at 5.25% today, with a little bit of points, like $1,400 in buy down, which isn't much, and a 30-day lock. So they're looking at a payment of around $3,363, and this is for California. This is assuming California property tax, California home. Okay. Then you jump to the middle column, FHA 30-year fixed, and there's pros and cons between conventional and FHA. Okay. Most people qualify for either, so it really depends on credit score and all that stuff. But FHA pricing, which is a government loan, 30-year fixed, we're looking at 3.5% down. The rate today is 4.5%, which is great.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's really good.
Yep. Now, the only difference there is it's a lower rate, but the mortgage insurance is higher than the conventional option. Okay. But still, a 4.5% rate with no points or very minimal points is very good. I see quotes all day, every day. And that's really good right now. And then VA 30-year fixed, we're looking at the same as FHA, 4.5%, minimal points, purchase price $5,000. This option is 0 down because that's the benefit of VA. VA loans they have the lowest rates and they have no mortgage insurance. So, you know, ways we're getting creative these days are some people are interested in ARM products. A lot of jumbo loans I'm doing, we're doing like a 5 or 7-year ARM. And ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage. So they're getting a lower interest rate for a fixed period. So let's use a 7-year ARM. So the first 7 it's fixed. Well, every scenario is different, but for clients that feel comfortable with that, maybe the house they're buying is going to be their 3 to 5 year house, and they know that they're not going to 5 years, so they know they're not going to have to worry about going into that adjustable rate period after the first 7 years, or a ARM, even better, 10-year ARM buys them a couple extra years, and I'm seeing that people are getting better pricing, lower payments, and historically, when we come out of a recession, the Fed lowers interest rates. Interest rates drop. So rates do drop down the road. They can always refinance into a fixed rate.
Yep. And that's what a lot of people are kind of taking advantage of right now to try to get that lower interest rate now, because a lot of people are buying, at least a lot of the clients that we've been helping they kind of have that intention that, hey, I'm going to be here 3-5 years and then on to the next one, right? People are just not staying in their homes nearly as long as they used to.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting to take advantage of that. So you guys offer
There's
ARM loans as well?
Yeah, offer arms. And every client's different. Some clients are comfortable with that. Some people aren't. It's
Yeah.
totally fine,
Hmm.
but just showing them a lot of different options. And I know you and I were talking about creative ways to help buyers right now bring their monthly payment down. And
Yes.
one other way that's really popular, and I'm sure you could speak to this too, is writing an offer and building in a seller credit,
Hmm.
because the buyer can use that seller credit. Let's call it, maybe it's $5,000 seller credit. They can apply that to buying down their interest rate. So in
Hmm.
essence, seller who is paying down the interest rate for the buyer, lowering their payment, lowering their rate, lowering their interest over time. That's been really popular right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, it's definitely more doable. And I want to take it back a little bit. So, when we were talking about the three different loan scenarios, right there, we had conventional, FHA, VA. The last few years being a hyper sellers market,
Mhm.
it was difficult sometimes to get an FHA or a VA loan accepted, right? When you're competing versus 3, 5 or more other offers, it's kind of difficult to get the seller to accept that type of offer with that loan. But right now, with more homes finally coming to the market, which is what we've been asking for the last decade, right? We've been asking for, and now it's here, is that now there's a lot more opportunity for a seller to be open to accepting that VA offer or that FHA, right? And I've done a ton of them. I know you've done a ton of them. So it wasn't like something that was impossible. It was doable, but it was definitely harder, like depending on the home, especially if it's getting blown out of the water with offers, right? And so that being said, if it's someone in that scenario where they want to get a little bit of better rate or take advantage of that FHA or VA, I think that this time in the market, it's kind of presenting that, right? It's kind of a lot more doable with that loan. And what
I
do you think
agree.
on that? Do you feel like this is
No,
kind of opportunity for someone
I,
like that to take advantage of those loans?
yeah, the cooling off of the market, meaning more homes are available. We're not seeing 20 offers per home anymore.
Right. Hmm.
Maybe one, two, three, maybe if
Right.
it's an amazing home, maybe a
Yeah.
few more. It's definitely cooled off. So what that does, it gives buyers opportunity to negotiate, and it
Hmm.
gives buyers opportunity to use government loans or even a down payment assistance loan. I
Yeah.
remember 3 years, man, it was so tough to get a down payment assistance loan accepted.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, like not a chance, and now, sellers, they don't have as many buyers coming after them. It really gives buyers opportunity
Yeah.
and loans to choose from. um, it's just a nice breath of fresh air for buyers,
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
for
So,
sure.
we're talking a lot about pricing. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, the market's going down. The market's going down." I'm seeing a lot of price reductions. Price reductions. Yes, there's been a lot of price reductions, right? And we've talked about that on the show in the last few weeks. I've brought up data about that. Um, but with that being said, a lot of the homes that we're seeing price reductions on, at least the ones that I'm seeing, is usually an overly optimistic seller like trying to cash out,
Mhm.
and then they're like realizing, oh, they're pricing,
Yeah.
yeah, they're pricing 6 months ago with the market at 3.5% interest rate and a crazy flurry of buyers and not nearly enough homes on the market. And so they're expecting to get that pricing or beat that pricing. And now they're sitting on the market like, twiddling their thumbs. And that's hence the price reductions, right? Also, a lot of agents right now just not informing their clients like realistic pricing. What it comes down to is affordability. Now that we got slightly higher rates, those same buyers that were shopping 3, 5, 6 months ago are looking at their monthly payment increasing for the same home. So yes, they're going to be way more picky, way more cautious, and they want to make
That's
sure it's the right home for them. It's just not the same impulsive, choice that it was in the last few years.
down.
Yeah. And so, with that being said, I know we did have a comment earlier. Priscilla hopped on and she said, "What is the current interest rate?" And I feel like we kind of answered that in the graph, right?
Yeah.
Um, So anywhere from 4.5 to about 5%, more or less, basically current rates.
Yeah, the graph I showed definitely helps. This is assuming I think it was 740 credit. So credit score has a lot to do with what interest rates are available. So the higher the credit, I just tell people in general, the higher the credit, the better interest rate options you'll have.
Right.
If you're poor, then they're not going to be as competitive.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think my message, and not to reiterate everything I said, but my message to people in general in this market is it pays to get a second opinion. Um, that story I shared, the buyers couldn't believe it. They were like, "Wait,
Oh
what?
yeah.
How is that possible?" Because they thought, "Hey, all
Hmm.
mortgage companies are the same.
Yeah.
They all do the same. They all have the same products."
Yeah.
Wrong. And
No.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
people on is like, "Hey, am I the best at every single product under the sun? No, not at all. But we're pretty good at a lot. I know that for sure.
Mhm.
So where's the best place to get a loan?
Yeah, a little bit of advertisement there. Best place to get a loan. So, um, again, just like what Sean mentioned, shop around, make sure you're looking at some of the options. I know that a lot of people are promising the moons and the stars and giving amazing quotes, but they're also not always including the points or being upfront that you're paying points on those rates that you're getting quoted. So be cautious. I've even told a lot of my clients that they went with whatever lender. And, to
Yeah.
me, it's totally fine. If there's a relationship there, you trust them, you like them, that's cool. As long as they're doing their job and can do their job, well, that's fine. But I always do tell them, hey, why don't you just give Sean a call and just make sure that he can run through your quote and, say, give it a thumbs up or not. And so that's always been super helpful. People love talking to you about it, whichever way they go. And so really, this is more of just putting information out there, especially now that are in a higher interest rate market, get the best deal that you possibly can.
And I'll add to what Priscilla's asking. I don't know what state she's in, maybe California, maybe somewhere else. But I would recommend getting a quote or a loan through a true mortgage broker like me. I've worked in all the different spheres of banking. I know how I've I've aligned myself with the best option, in my opinion, for the consumer, because true mortgage brokers that work with a lot of banks have access to wholesale pricing, which
Mm.
means interest rates, lower fees for the buyer. We
Yeah.
basically cut all the branch managers and the regionals and the VPs and all these
Yeah. And all the extracurricular overhead costs.
that aren't involved exactly
Yeah.
in the actual loan. We take that off the table and pass that savings on, and
Yeah.
that's how brokers are set up. So to answer your
Mhm.
question, I would recommend going with the independent mortgage broker.
That's what you call running a business lean and mean. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Helping
So,
people.
so I hope that helps you guys out as far as where's the best place to get a loan. Um, Credit unions also offer some great options, but
Can I
again, what?
can I speak to
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Credit unions on ARMs. If you're watching this and you're interested in an ARM program,
Hmm.
credit are killing it with ARM programs. They have portfolio options. They're able to do ARMs right now better than a lot of banks.
Mm,
Um, I can compete, but some of the quotes I've seen on ARMs from different credit unions around are really good.
hmm.
So
Okay.
have come to me and said, "Hey, I got this quote from such and such a bank. I'm in this state. Can you run pricing for me?" Sure. And I'll tell them, "Hey, if you're going with the ARM, go with that bank. If you're
Yeah.
not going, you go on a fixed rate. Happy to help or
Okay.
figure it out. But if you're going with an ARM, then you're in good hands.
Hmm. Okay. So, you think that, with the potential rising rates, Fed keeps kind of saying, hey, we think we're going to hike them up a little bit more. Inflation keeps going higher and higher. Rates keep going up. We finally got inventory in the market that right now is still a potentially good opportunity for a home buyer or like even a first time home buyer in the market that's kind of been back and forth about it. Um, what would you say to them? Let's say you were a first time home buyer, you just had a family and you're thinking about buying a home in the next 3 to 6 months. what do you say about timing and kind of future valuation of that home?
Yeah. My advice is my advice is to keep the payment comfortable. So if the payment is comfortable for the buyer, we set the
Mhm.
price
Yeah,
and we go with that option. I'm never going to recommend someone stretch themselves so thin that they're stressed out beyond,
100%.
you
Yeah,
know, take a look at their area, what kind of values are going for first time homes, what kind
yeah.
of price, what that would look like monthly payment. If they say, "Hey, that's comfortable for me," I recommend buying because real estate always is trending upward. You know,
Mhm,
I've used this in different examples, but I bought with you. You were my realtor in 2017 when we bought our house,
mhm.
Sacramento area, and 4 years later we had $225,000 of equity, and I thought we were at the top of the market, and I'm in the
Yeah.
industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's going to be dips. There's going to be cooling off periods. We're in one right now. That's an opportunity to negotiate a better deal. But I'm in real estate because I believe in it. I believe the best avenue to build wealth, and that's my lens to help people. And so some people don't need to buy right now if it's going to make them super stressed out. Um, but for people who have the payment and it's comfortable, I think it's a great investment.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, whatever your guys' timing is like, all I'll say is this, is that the amount of homes for sale is up about 34% from May to June. Okay. Those are closed numbers. We don't have July out yet. So I'll bring those up in the next few days. But increase of 34% from May to June in the amount of homes. From June of 2021 to June of 2022, last month, that's a 98% increase. So literally almost double the amount of homes that was on exactly a year ago. Is this the reason for the cool off? I think so. A huge part of it. Is it necessarily a reason for the market going down? I personally don't believe so, but it is definitely a different pace in the marketplace. And I think that it's something that for the last 2, 3, 5 years or more, where I've had a lot of conversation with home buyers, they were just getting basically outbid. They weren't as competitive, right? Maybe they didn't have the amount of down payment, or maybe they wanted to use some sort of closing cost assistance program or down payment assistance program, or they wanted to use an FHA loan or a VA loan, and it just wasn't working out because they're competing versus 5 other offers, very strong offers. Now we're not having that same pace. It's like, okay, well, now you're not writing an offer $30,000, $50,000 over the list price. You can probably write it at the list price, maybe even a little bit under, and negotiate some credits. So when
Yeah.
you look at it that way and your monthly payment is affordable, it's like what you said earlier. I advise that to my clients all the time. Like, look, I don't care. You want to buy today or buy a year from now? Like, it really doesn't change my life, but
Totally.
it's going to change your life. And if you can lock in a better rate today and be comfortable with your payment and still enjoy the house, still enjoy the location, if it makes sense, then just do it. And then, of course, if for some reason rates end up finally trailing down, I know we've had some news about that potentially in near future.
They
Again,
probably
I'm not quoting that, but people have been mentioning that quite a bit, that rates will eventually go down. Okay, refinance, is that big of a deal? Like
Yeah.
if I could get a better rate, I'm going to refinance and I'll spend
Yeah.
the money to do it.
Something that clicked for me too, putting myself in the shoes of a first time buyer when I was a first time buyer,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, I was, it clicked for me when I realized I was still paying a mortgage. Just wasn't mine, you know, like
True.
if you're renting, you're still paying a mortgage. So my advice to people is just like what you're saying, if it's comfortable, if it makes sense, it's a great investment, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I saw you. This is a little bit of a side topic, but I think I saw you. You guys closed on your property in Florida.
Yeah. We,
Oh, sweet.
we've had a goal to have a place, like a vacation rental, like a short-term rental, uh, in like the Florida Panhandle 30A area.
Nice.
Uh, we visited last year as a family and just loved it. It was beautiful. And so we found a spot and we went down 2 weeks ago and had a great time. And it's just fun,
Nice.
the industry. It's just fun to be able to, you know,
Hmm.
know what you're doing, feel comfortable, and
Yep,
that's
exactly.
what I
Yeah, and it's cool to see people that are in the industry that are still going out investing, still looking at deals, and still active in the marketplace instead of just saying one thing and doing another, right? Because I think people can sense that too. Um, there's a lot of people just talking about like yeah, buy, but they haven't bought themselves, in a while or whatever it might be. But yeah, so that's really cool. Also, if you guys are an investor looking for investment products or even to do loans in other states, Sean can definitely help you out with that. They're licensed in multiple other states. And again, this is not just tuning a horn, but it's someone that I've personally worked with many times. So I know that he and his team will take care of you guys. What states do you guys service in all?
So to do all loans, we're licensed in California, Idaho, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, and Ohio.
Mhm.
Um, then for investors, if you're an investor or you're looking to buy an investment property, there's some investment products that I do. There are no income, no doc, 20% down loans. We can do those pretty much nationwide.
Really? Okay.
Pretty. We've been doing a lot of those in Texas and even Florida before we were licensed there to do normal loans. You know,
Wow.
so it's just fun to give people another option. A lot of self-employed buyers or people that own corporations or
Yeah.
companies, whatever it is, they don't want to deal with their tax return. They don't want to deal with showing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they give a really good option just to simplify it. And 20% down, 680 credit. Let's do it.
Let's
So
go. No, I like that too because like we even have a lot of self-employed people, entrepreneurs, right? And I love that about where we live is like there's so many business-minded people, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, that I call them. So I love that. But with that, their income can be like really high highs, really low lows, all over the place. And that's when someone like you and your team can step in and use that to still get somebody a home loan. Someone who doesn't have that like straight and easy W-2, work for the state or county where it's just like clean and crisp. Those loans are great. It's great for those people. But again, when you're self-employed, it could be very different, right? Big months, low months, everything in between. So, and it changes. And so I love that you guys have products for people like that as well.
it's been fun for sure.
Yeah.
And meet some really cool people too.
I know. So I'm going to be on the lookout for my next Airbnb. Guys, if you're looking to invest in other states, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you can always reach out to us. And of course, if you're thinking about getting a quote on a home loan or even just want to compare, you can always reach out to Sean and his team. I'll put the info down below. And Sean, it's been really good having you on the show this week, man.
Love joining you, man.
Good to see you, my friend. Well,
You
I
too.
hope to cross paths soon, and I'll be heading out to Tennessee hopefully in the next few months. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the show this week. And if you've enjoyed this content, if this has been beneficial to you, hit that like button. Share this with a friend that's maybe thinking about buying a home in this market. We'd love to help you out any way that we can. Also, we are live every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. So we'll see you guys next week. Take care.